everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. I'm sure you've heard it said that you are what you eat. And that's very true. If you consume a steady diet of fast food and candy, you're going to look and feel a lot different than somebody who eats a lot of fruits and vegetables and drinks plenty of water. Likewise, we are what we think. It even says that in the Bible. In Proverbs 23:7, it says, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." What we think is what we believe, and what we believe is who we become. We take actions or inaction on our belief. In today's video, I want to talk about the real issue if you feel trapped still with a narcissist. You feel like you can't leave. You are stuck. It's something within you. Your real enemy is the way that you think, the way that you believe about yourself. When that changes, you will start seeing your life in a very different light, and that's what it takes. If you told me that you wanted to lose 20 pounds or you wanted to fit into this size clothing, I could tell you what to do. I could tell you exactly how to get there, but it would be up to you to take the action. That's what I'm trying to do in today's video. Those of you who feel entangled, you can't get out, it's impossible for you. I want to tell you, yes, you can. And it starts with the way that you think. There are things you must do. You can also be free. Joe and I, at the same time, we didn't even know each other, but we both suffered from what he calls terminal uniqueness. Other people could leave the narcissist. We couldn't. We had extenuating circumstances, and that kept us both trapped. Once we thought different, that's when we actually had the nerve to leave. It's not easy leaving a narcissist, I know that, but it all begins with the way that you think. I believed I was trapped, like I was in this jail cell, and I was really trapped. I was chained up, I was locked up, there was like dogs all around, guards, I had a lava moat around it. I could not get out. It was impossible. But I'm free right now while I'm talking to you. I was wrong. I changed my mindset, and that's how I got out. That's how everybody can get out. When we're with a narcissist, we're so beat down, we don't even know our own reality. I started this channel because I discovered narcissism. I didn't know what was going on. I was living this confused reality. I couldn't understand why my ex would do the things he did or why he wouldn't do them. It would be like the most obvious thing to do that everybody else would do. He would just not do it. And I couldn't, it literally drove me insane in some ways because I was obsessed with this. Why? How can he possibly be this way? So when I discovered narcissism, it was like my world changed. It made sense. Oh, and I wanted to tell other people. I had no idea at the time that there were millions of us out there dealing with this, but I felt like I had this cure, like I had cured cancer or something. Like, oh my gosh, I have the cure for cancer. And I get to get to the hospital right away to tell the doctors, doctor, I have the cure. Here it is. Use it on your patients right now. That's what I thought when I started this channel. And I want to do the same thing. I have a similar feeling with how to get out. You can. If you think you can't, you're wrong. You don't have a situation that is so unique that it's impossible. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't take time. I've said before on the channel, it took me 6 years. 6 years to change my mindset enough to get out. But it doesn't matter if it takes 10 years. If you are moving forward, you're doing something good. And all of us, we have to be away from the narcissist. I want to pull you up behind me. I don't want you to be left behind, stuck, trapped. You can't leave. None of that is true. Now, when we're with a narcissist, oftentimes that's all we know. You probably grew up similar to how I grew up. My father's a narcissist. That's how I grew up. That's what I knew. My mother's codependent. I'm sure that's the same for many of you. That's why we got involved with a narcissist in the first place, because we didn't know our own worth. Our belief about ourselves wasn't good. So we had all these red flags. People abused us and we let them abuse us. And we didn't know. But once we know, and if you're watching my channel, you know about narcissism. You have to take the time to change the way that you feel. You will never regret it. Don't sit there like I did, believing you are trapped and you can't get out, when all along the jail cell was open. You could have left at any time. It all begins with mindset, 100%. I grew up, and my father is an overt narcissist. So I grew up with a steady diet of essentially junk food. It was all, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough. Why aren't you more like this person? I loathed my father. When I was dating, the main thing that I wanted in a relationship was somebody who was not like my father. So when I met my ex, I thought, here he is. Here's the man who's not like my father. I had no idea I was actually marrying my father, but he was in a different outfit. My father's an overt narcissist. My ex is a covert narcissist. So my ex was not telling me that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't pretty enough. He did do that later, which I'll talk about. But at the beginning, it was the exact opposite. Wow, you're so pretty, you're so this, you're so that. That's the type of thing I heard from him. So I thought, wow, he is not like my father at all. My kids can have a real relationship with their father. I could not wait to get married and have babies. That was just, I've told Joe before, that was my dream in life. I'm very maternal. And so that was important to me. So here I was, and I found this person, and he wanted to have kids, and we were going to have this great life. That's what I believed, because he was nothing like my father. I did it. I got away from my father. That was right in my mind. That was my belief system. And I believed it strongly. So when my ex started being a narcissist, when he would start giving me silent treatments, and I didn't know silent treatments because I didn't grow up with silent treatments. My father, in my experience, overt narcissists aren't huge silent treatment people. They like to talk, they like to put you down. Coverts, they'll give you silent treatments. So I was confused. Why? And first of all, I didn't know narcissism at this time anyways, but I was so confused. Why was he acting like this? I wasn't familiar with this. Did he hear me? Maybe he didn't hear me. Did he have a bad day at work? I'm just automatically making excuses because my mindset was bad. I had a poor mindset. I didn't think highly of myself. I didn't think anything positive about myself. All my feelings, everything was validated outside of myself. I was not a happy person growing up. And then here I am with my ex, and we're first married, and this is like the first time in my life that I'm feeling good. Like, oh wow, like it's gonna be all right. Like I'm gonna have a good life. I did it. I escaped, and that was something that I really thought I escaped. Like I had accomplished something. I didn't accomplish anything on my own. I accomplished something because I married somebody who didn't tell me that I wasn't good enough. That was like what was important to me at the time. So when he started giving me silent treatments, I didn't understand it. And so I had this level of confusion in my life, but I never once thought to myself, I don't deserve this. Who does he think he is? How dare he? That's how I would think today. But I didn't think that then. I hadn't begun to change my mindset at the time. So I put up with all of this, and as time went on, it got worse and worse. Then my ex started talking about how, like I said, he didn't say negative things at first. He did eventually. And it was always, you know what, people don't like you. You have a really bad personality. And he didn't quite say it in that rude of a way, but he would always tell me this. It would be like he was helping me. You know what, that person, I don't think, Jen is really a friend of yours. It looks like she's more of a frenemy. Did you see the way she looked at you? When we go out, people like me. They put up with you, but they really like me. Like it was good for me to be with him because people liked him. And it was my husband. I believed him. I believed him. Just like when I was younger, I believed my father. Like I wasn't good enough. I was always in a diet. I wasn't thin enough. I wasn't, pretty enough. What could I do? I remember one time when I was a teenager, I got a job at Victoria's Secret. And this was like the way my father would compliment people or me. He said, "Oh, wow, you got a job at Victoria's Secret? They must think you're attractive. That's good. That's a good thing." What? It was just a weird thing today when I think about it. I would never say that to my daughter, but that's how my father was, and that was all I knew. I didn't know I deserved more than that. So here's my ex, and he's telling me that people don't like me, and I believed him. I believed him, and I made decisions based on my beliefs. So when I had kids, and the kids had friends, and they wanted to do play dates, I was petrified of play dates. Petrified. They were like my worst fear. I didn't want to ever go on a play date because I thought the other mother isn't going to like me. That, because you go on these play dates when your kids are little. So the other mother's not going to like me. I'm going to somehow ruin my kids' lives because I'm so inferior. It affected the things that I did because of my belief. I didn't have friends for a long time because of my belief. You know what changed for me? And I kind of stumbled into it. So, if you told me you wanted to lose weight, I can tell you exactly how to lose weight, but you have to take the steps. I'm going to tell you exactly how I changed and got free, but it's up to you to take the steps. It started with codependence. I stopped being codependent. I can't tell you how huge that is. You have to break free from being under control of the narcissist. They can't control every aspect of your life. You must have value in yourself. You must not allow people to treat you poorly. You don't deserve it. You just don't. My ex treated me terribly and I put up with it. And essentially, when you do that, and I'm not blaming you, I'm not blaming myself. I'm just trying to help you understand what is really going on. You're teaching people it's okay to treat you that way. It's okay. It's okay to be rude to me. It's okay to abuse me emotionally or physically or financially, however it is. My ex abused me financially horrifically. He would get into huge debts. Then he'd call mommy and daddy to clear his debts up. I couldn't stand that. But you know what? I stayed with him. Essentially, I gave him the green light. I wasn't thinking it that way, but that's what it was. I didn't have any self-confidence. I didn't think, you know what? I actually could leave him, get a job, and take care of my kids. I never thought that would, no. I've been to college, I've been to graduate school. I could do that. I could get a job. I didn't think that though. I never believed that. It was just, I can't. I'm a housewife now, and nobody likes me, so I couldn't even get a job if I wanted a job because I'd never get hired because I don't have a good personality or whatever it was. I'm this, I'm that. That's all I heard. I had to break free of it. But when you're not a narcissist, you can change, you can thrive, grow, adapt. You can be anybody that you want to be. It all begins inside. Nobody outside. I can't do it. Your parents, your friends, family, nobody can do this for you. It has to be yourself. But when you know what? I think I'm going to start looking at myself a little bit. Who am I really as a person? Because you probably never thought of it. I didn't. I just went along. I was like bobbing around in the ocean. Somebody said something negative. Okay, I guess that's true. Oh, here I am over here now. Whoops, there I am. Oh, I'm in deep waters now. Now I'm in trouble, but I certainly can't save myself, so I guess I'm just going to drown. I mean, that's how it is when you're so beat down. When I started changing, once I stopped being codependent and I wasn't putting up with things the way that I used to, everything changed. Now, it still took a couple of years. This was a slow process for me. It doesn't necessarily have to be as slow for you because I stumbled into this. I wasn't actively doing it. Once I started actively changing, a lot of things changed in my life kind of quickly in a way. I'll tell you when this began. December of 2019 was a really bad time. That was when my ex and I split up. We were separated. I told him he couldn't come back to the house. And this hit me. I think it was God. I do. I know it was. My ex tried to get me arrested. He lied to the police about me, and I heard him lying to the police. I heard him telling the police that I had beat him up. Now, the whole thing's absurd on the surface. My ex literally is 3 times my size. He's a really big person. I am a small person. He is legit 3 times my size. So it was absurd, but I didn't think of it at the time of, oh, come on, how could you do this? I was like, oh, how could he? I can't believe he would lie like this. It was just beyond what I could understand, and something just clicked in me Right then, I didn't even know it was happening, but I wasn't going to let him come back. But when I think about it today, he easily could have come back because he owned the house with me. The police told him to leave, he left, and he didn't come back. He was telling me that he was living homeless. So he was like a homeless person. He didn't want to end our entanglement. Of course, for him, it was a relationship that he was completely in control of. So of course, he wanted that. He didn't come back though. God really helped me there, but I think part of it was my determination, the way I thought inside, and he knew it, and the way other people felt, and he knew it. I had to call the police so many times in the last 6 months of the entanglement. Every time the police kicked him out. That gave me confidence too, though, because here I am, a person thinking that nobody likes me, yet the police are taking my side. My pastor took my side. People started taking my side, and that built up my self-confidence because, maybe people do like me. What changed for me was that day when we split up. I had a really, really bad month that December. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to have a heart attack and my kids were going to find my dead body. I was so stressed out because my ex lied to the police. I had a Child Protective Services investigation out on me. My ex wasn't at the house. He wasn't confiscating the mail. I found out that he had tremendous credit card debts. He wasn't paying the mortgage, the electric, nothing. I wasn't working. I was a stay-at-home mom. So I didn't have money to pay. I wasn't going to a job to pay for these things. It was almost Christmas. I thought I was going to die. I can't take it. I can't do it. It's too much for me. One day, it was after about 2 weeks, one day something just changed for me. And I decided there is no way I'm going to let my kids grow up this way. There's no way I'm going to let my kids live in misery with their mother depressed and thinking she's going to die at any moment, and we never have enough money, and we never have this. I decided I wanted my kids to grow up in a happy home. So I started plastering a smile on my face even when I didn't feel it. I was changing things. I was changing the way that I thought. One day I recognized that, you know what? If you do that, if you live the way that you want to live, if you decide, I'm going to be a happy person, I'm going to be a happy mother, this is how it's going to be. If you really believe that you can do that, and I knew I could because I was doing it, so much changed. I started doing, just like I told you, I can tell you what to do, but if you don't do it, you're not going to have these results, just like losing weight, right? Like if I make a meal plan for you and then you don't go by that meal plan and you're eating ice cream and cookies, you're not going to lose weight. If I tell you what worked for me and you do it, I believe that this will get you free. It will get you in the right mindset. I started doing things that I was terrified to do before. I joined a Bible group at my church. I started talking to people. And you know what? I started getting friends. People that I didn't think I could be friends with because I had such a bad personality were suddenly my friends. I had real joy in my life. And then as time went on, I decided there's no way I could be with this person. It's not, because at first when we split up, if my ex had changed, say, and I don't believe that narcissists change, but let's just say he did for whatever reason, I would have taken him back. After a while, when I started working on myself and I had confidence in myself and I knew my own value, there's no way I would ever take him back in a million years, because I finally had, after my entire life of being shut down by my own father, by my mother not defending me, then the person I married not helping me, my in-laws, nobody. I was all alone. I did it myself because I started feeling better about who I was. I knew my own worth. I wasn't my own enemy. I was my own savior. That's what it takes. You can't hope for somebody else to save you. It has to be yourself. I mentioned in a video recently that if your house was on fire, you wouldn't just sit there and just let yourself be burned alive. You'd get up immediately, no matter what you were doing. This is how we have to look at our situation with a narcissist. It's a crisis. It's an emergency. We have to get up right now and take care of the situation. And getting up right now and taking care of the situation is realizing you are a worthy person. You're not a bad person. What the narcissist says, it's all lies. They don't want you to have a life outside of themselves. Have you ever seen in a movie or something, it's usually a woman standing on a chair freaking out because there was like a mouse nearby and she's so afraid of the mouse and, oh, somebody save me, save me. That's like us with the narcissist. And it's so ridiculous when I see stuff like that because what is the mouse going to do? It's going to run away. It's afraid. Even if you're a child, compared to a mouse, you're gigantic. You're a beast. You could destroy this mouse. But here we are, cowering in fear. That's like us with a narcissist. Who the narcissist is inside is somebody who is always going to be crippled by their personality disorder. They're really, really mentally ill. They cannot function on a level that you or I can. That's just the reality. You and I can change. We can be anybody that we want. Whatever you want, you can do, but you need to believe that you can do it. Because once you believe that you can do it, you start making very different choices. Like I told you, I used to be afraid to have play dates or talk to other mothers because I was afraid that they wouldn't like me. So that's probably the image I gave off. Probably people didn't because I was so afraid. I was so reserved. Once I started being who I wanted to be, who I felt like I really was inside, everything changed. I live authentically now. It is such a better life. It took me 6 years to leave, from when I stopped being codependent to when I really gained the confidence to be able to leave. And I left my ex, I lost my house. It was not an easy thing to do, but I don't regret it because I'm free, and so are my kids. I was having a conversation with my son the other day, and I told him, he was upset about something. And I told him, you have to go through this whether or not you're happy. So it's your choice. Are you going to be happy and go through it? Or are you going to be miserable and go through it? Because either way, you have a choice. You have a choice too. You're not stuck, trapped in this jail cell, unable to get out, where somebody else makes all your decisions. How the narcissist feels is how it is. I don't know the exact circumstances that will enable you to get out, but I do know this. It all starts with not being an enemy to yourself. It's being your best friend. And I'll tell you, I know not everybody feels this way, but for me, I believe it's the truth. It also is having a close relationship with God. Have a close relationship with God, your Father. He will help you become the person that you need to be to make the choices and the beliefs to have the life that you want. Henry Ford says it best: whether you think you can or can't, you're right. I hope this helps somebody. If you are trapped with a narcissist, start taking the steps to change your life. It starts with you, not with the narcissist changing. I will see you guys on Friday. I hope everybody has a great day, a great rest of the week, and I will see you later. Bye, everybody.